that means freedom. When you have no wife, no girlfriend, and no children, or very little responsibility, you can travel more. For like 15 years, I owned my own business, fitness for working out, gym, and I work in a school. So in the summer, very slow for me, so I would travel a lot in the summer for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Around the world.
Oh yeah. But when I come to Vietnam, first time in Asia. I've never been to anywhere in Asia before. I've always gone to Eastern Europe or Western Europe or many islands. But my brother married a Vietnamese woman, so she always tell me about Vietnam. And then when I decided to find a teach English job, I go online and Vietnam seemed best at the time for cost of living. So people are nice here, people are nice everywhere. There's mean people here and mean people, you know. What's your name? Your name? You. Win. Jeff. Jeff.
I met you at the school.
Yes, I know. I just want to remember. I have names. I have so many names in my head. I want to remember. Yeah. So we're going to practice some vocabulary and discussions. So do you know what livable means? Livable? I would write on the board with my handwriting very ugly on these boards. Chalk better. But livable. Do you know what that means?
People want to live there.
My house is livable, meaning you can live there, it's comfortable. You can be homeless, but not livable, right? Because you have no home. So it's not really, you don't die, but you're not really living either. You're just homeless all day. So livable just means someplace you would like to live that's comfortable for you. So it's an adjective. Because it's describing, you know the noun, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Okay. I don't know your level, so you teach with me, so you know I like to do alphabet and stuff. Everybody know the alphabet?
Yes.
You know the alphabet? The ABCs? You sure?
Yes.
Okay, it's called the alphabet. How many letters in the alphabet?
Alphabet.
How many letters?
JD4.
No.
26. 26.
26 letters in the alphabet. Not like you can't learn English if you don't know how many letters in the alphabet, but you should know how many letters are in the alphabet, just like you should know the sounds of the alphabet. That's how you learn how to speak. You know the sounds, how to pronounce them. You have a short sound and a long sound. You know what a long sound of A is? The long sound of the letter A. There's a long sound and a short sound. So, alright, I'll do my best. So that's a capital A, an uppercase A. So the long sound the long sound, and then there's a short sound. You know what there's a long sound. A is the long sound. And that's a lowercase a. That's a short sound. Do you know what the short sound is? What is it? The long sound is A, like the letter A, and then you have a short sound. Do you know what it is? Oh, you heard my class already. Don't cheat. A. You pronounce letter A as A. The letter B is B. The letter C is K. So if you don't know how the sounds are, it's very hard to spell. She heard me already in class, so she knows English is hard because there's a lot of vocabulary words. There's a lot of words for one way to say something, you can say many ways. But if you want to learn how to pronounce words, you have to know this long sound and the short sound. So short sounds are lowercase, small letter A. This is an uppercase. Let me make that better for you. So that's uppercase. When you start a sentence, the first letter of the word is an uppercase. The first letter of somebody's name, uppercase. The name of a place, you would write with a capital letter, which is A. Yes? You know? You look confused. You understand?
Yeah, but actually, her major is English.
Okay, well, that's why I'm starting basic. I think I told you and I told the teacher over here, I always go over basics. If you do not know this, you cannot pronounce words. So it don't matter if you want to live in America and know what these words are,
Yes.
You have to know how to say them. For instance, number 2, what is it? Livability.
Yes.
That's why English, it's hard sometimes because you don't know if it's I or it. The short sound for I is it. The long sound is I. The short sound is it. So if you know how to do it, you can, what is the sound for L? Does anybody know? La. So if you know the letter sound, la, I, v, you can pronounce the word. But if you don't know the words, it's hard to pronounce. That's why they do that. Number 3. You know that word?
Sustainable.
Sustainable. Sustainable. Sustainable. 4 syllables. That's how you learn how to pronounce also syllables. Sustainable means something that will last a very long time. So you want to livability is a place, it's just like livable. The place is livable, but I'm going to look for a place with see, now you got me messed up. Livability just means another way to say someplace somebody can stay that's comfortable, which is also another way kind of to say sustainable, is somewhere that it will stay nice for a long time. It's something that will last a long time. You buy a house, hopefully if you make your payments, it's sustainable, meaning you'll live there forever. 4.
Quality of life.
Right. Quality of life. What does that mean? Everybody know? life for me? Before we answer the words, see if we know what they are. So quality of life. You know what quality means?
Yes.
Okay, so quality is good, right? You want a quality of life, meaning you can live homeless and make no money, or you can have a job, own a home. So your quality of life is better if you make money and live in a house than if you're homeless and make no money. Now, money not everything. Money important, but some people would say quality of life to them is traveling, you know, and just living in an apartment. Everybody's quality of life different. It's whatever you think is quality for you. In America, I have my own business, but every month, 1 month might be really good, 1 month might be really bad. So my quality of life was okay, but I liked it because I had time off, and I can. In America, you have to work, and then not have enough money to pay anything. Like in America, you work minimum 40 hours a week. So that's if you work 5 days a week, and you would work 40 hours. So you're working 8 to 9 hours a day. And then most people in America also have to work a part-time job because that's not enough to live in America. So, quality of life really depends on you. And working in America, you know, do you want to work every second? Like my brother and his wife, they work every second, and they make a lot of money, but it's in their bank, and when you die, what happens to that money? Do you spend it? No. So you have to have a middle. You have to have you ever hear all work makes no fun? So you have to have work and fun to have a quality of life for me. I mean, I like working. It makes me feel good. But I also like traveling to make me feel better. Standard of living. Standard of living. You know what that means? What's the difference between quality of living and standard of living? Do you know?
Some people live in high standard of living and low standard of living.
Right. The standard of living depends on what you make for money. Standard of living is average, I would say. You know, but some people might have quality of life and be standard living. It's just how you save your money or spend your money. You really have to decide the money you save, what you want to do with it. So if you have a standard of living, my standard is, you know, I like to take showers and be clean. Some people don't, you know, like hippies or something, you know, they don't like to. So if you have you don't make your bed in the morning, you don't take a shower, you don't eat healthy, I don't eat healthy all the time because I did it for my whole life. I just like to eat what I want now. Getting too old. But, so, the standard of living and the quality. So the quality means how you like to live, and the standard living is how you want to live your life. Okay. Are you happy just living in a studio apartment and having enjoyable times? Some people are like that. Some people need a big house and they need a big car. So it's really, those things are really up to you on how you want to do it. Cost of living. Now, cost of living. You know what that means, right? What's cost of living? If you see cost of living, what do you think that means?
How much money?
Stuff made. So how much money stuff costs? Right? For instance, just something simple. In America, a can of Coke or cola is like $1.50. For a can of Coca-Cola is like $1.50. Here, it's like 65 cents. So cost of living, I'm just using Coca-Cola as an example, is a little easier. But it depends on what you make. I hate to say it, I think I make a little bit more. So my cost of living might be a little better than your cost of living. You know, some people can only afford bread and peanut butter and jelly. You know, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They're like, when you are poor, you eat ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly. Because you can't have a lot of money to spend on extra stuff. In America right now, 60% of America is having a problem with their cost of living. Since the new president come, gas higher, food higher, rent higher, you can't buy a home. Crime is up, so things are getting robbed. People are robbing stores, so the stores have to make the prices higher. Because gas is higher, now the people that deliver it have to raise their price because gas is higher. And what happens is people like you and me have to spend extra money on that. When Donald Trump was president, people made $1,100 more a month. Since President Biden came, people are losing $2,000 a month. So cost of living went up, and now instead of 40% of people living month to month, 60% of America is living month to month. So that's called inflation. Inflation, which will make your cost of living hit your pocket deeper. That's probably one of the more important things is cost of living. If you have a high, Vietnam doesn't really have a high cost of living, but you don't really have credit cards here. Your GPA is a little better. The way they spend their money here, they don't really spend it on transportation and things of that nature. They kind of put it towards other. So you don't pay extra money. Like the American dollar, when I moved here, $1 was 26,000 dong. Now it's 24,000 down to 23,000, because the more money your country spends, the more your money goes down.
But actually, so could you tell me how much do we need to pay for expenses in the U.S.?
Don't work very well. Do you have anything at work?
Yes.
Now that don't work either. Alright, this broke a little, so be careful. Alright. Cost of living. 4. So I'll do Florida, which is cheaper than New York, California, New Jersey, Delaware, most of the states. So if you live in Florida, you don't have to pay state taxes. In America, you have to pay federal taxes, and in some states, you have to pay state tax. So they tax you. In like Texas and Florida, the state does not take money out. So you only pay federal. So depending where you live in Florida, I'll do an average. If you live in Miami, for a studio apartment, you'll spend probably $2,000 a month.
2,000.
Yeah, $1,800, $2,000 in Miami. Unless you're in a bad area, you might spend $1,200, $1,200. I lived on the border, and I lived in the back of a house, and it was a little kitchen, a living room, and a bedroom that was very small, probably a little bigger than this room. And that cost me, so rent, $850 a month. A month. And that was for something maybe like this. Now you have to have electric, right? Electricity. So, electric. Usually, I mean, I try not to use a lot, so I'll do an average. Sometimes it costs as much as $200 a month, sometimes $100, so I'll do $150.
150.
That's electric. Do you want a phone? Do you want a cell phone? Okay. So if you have a cheap cell phone, your monthly cell phone bill, if you only use minimum, $125. Maybe 100. Maybe. All right, so now we have rent, we have electric, and we have a phone. Do you have a car, or do you take public transportation like a bus?
Yes.
Which one? You want a car, or do you want to take the bus? You want a car?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have a car, and let's say you buy a cheap car, and I'm not even going to add it in, it's like $2,000-$3,000, just to have a cheap car that will probably break down a lot. So let's say you have a car. Car insurance. Car insurance. Yearly, if you have 0 points on you, if you are a perfect driver, this is what it costs a year. You can usually buy it in 6 months or a year. A year will make it cheaper, so I'll put the yearly price down. $3,000. So you break that into 12 months. So 3 into 12 is 4, so it's about $400 a month. You can find cheaper, you can, but you won't. It's just basic insurance. So if you crash, you have to pay all your bills. If it's your fault, you have to pay the other driver's bills. So this is the cheapest, pretty much. All right. So.
But actually, it doesn't include the maintenance, right? Car maintenance.
No, that's just insurance.
Just insurance.
Yeah, and hopefully your car don't need maintenance other than oil change. But if you need an oil change, we'll put oil change down. That means you take your car to a shop, they take old oil out,
yes,
and put new oil in. $60. Maybe 50. Maybe 50. Maybe you have a friend that does it, he'll charge you probably $50. Probably more depending where you go. But that's it. So that's just, if you need to do that for your car to make it run good. So that you have to do to your car. Now we need to get gas, right? So if you have a small car, right now gas is about, if you're living in Florida, it's about $4 a gallon. So if you have a small car, weekly, you'll probably spend $40 a week. Times 4, $120 a month for your gas. We didn't even eat yet. Now we don't even eat food yet. If you're single and you're by yourself, I would say weekly, if you go to the supermarket, it's going to cost you $100 a week. only for one person. I spent $100, and I didn't, when I was in the fitness, I ate no junk food, no sodas, I weighed all my food, and I show pictures, I'm ripped. So I only ate fruit, vegetable, chicken, and some fish. And that cost me $100 a week. So food, 100 a week times 4, 400 a month. So we got rent. Do you want Wi-Fi in your house?
Yes, internet.
You need internet in your house, right? So now Wi-Fi. Do you want good Wi-Fi or where you turn it on and then you go make dinner and it's still not on yet? You want 4G?
Yes.
If you just get Wi-Fi and you don't have cable TV, the Wi-Fi will be about $80 a month. If you get cable and Wi-Fi is included, and you want cable included, $150 a month, basic cable. If you want other channels, it could be $300 a month.
But actually, in movies, I think American people prefer eating fast food, right?
If you don't have money to spend, you're not eating fast food, you're not going out to dinner, you're not getting pizza, you're cooking at home. Maybe you have a barbecue in the backyard to save money on your electric. But if most people don't have money, they might use it once a week to splurge. You know what splurge means? It means to spend a little extra and feel good about yourself. They might go to McDonald's.
So that's what we see in the movies, not
well,
good, right?
60% of America are fat.
Oh man.
That's why my business did well for so long, being a fitness trainer in Florida. So I relied on McDonald's and Burger King to make my business better. But 60% of America is overweight. Not fat, but overweight. Mm-hmm. And even if you take 10%, because if you say you're overweight, you can still look good. Mm-hmm. So let's say take off 10%. So 50% of America is overweight. Mm-hmm. But all right, we'll put that. We'll put a little fast food there. I would get pizza, like a slice, one slice, and a Coke, like $3. So I'll just put, if you do it once a week, for one slice of pizza, or do you want McDonald's? What would you eat if you had a choice of fast food? You have many choices in America. What would you eat for fast food? Hamburger. McDonald's, Burger King.
Yes.
Okay. They have so many in America. Wendy's is the best. Wendy's. Yes. If you're in California, In-N-Out burger, pretty good.
But how about some stands, food stands on the street, for example, some hot dogs?
Well, that's like getting you get in New Jersey, you'll see a little hot dog stand. You'll get 2 hot dogs and a soda for like $3. Slice of pizza and a soda, $3. Little things like that. But if you have your husband and 2 kids, now it's $3, $6, $9, $12 for, let's say, to go eat 2 hot dogs and a soda. So they have hot dogs, you can do it. I mean, but most people would like to, if they're going to go out, they're going to go to like McDonald's or Wendy's or get pizza more before they get a hot dog. It's more filling, more calories. So fast food a month, we'll say low end, we'll just say $25. Okay, am I missing anything?
Just $25?
For one person who goes out once a week, we'll say $25, yeah. And then for a family, it's $100. If you just get a slice of pizza and a Coke, or if you go to McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's, and you have 2 children, you get a Happy Meal. They're $6. So now you're $12 for 2 Happy Meals. And do you want to eat when you go to McDonald's? You're not getting a Happy Meal. Now you probably get what? Big Mac? A number 1. Big Mac, large fry, and a Coke is now like $6 also. So maybe a kid's meal is $4, $5.
So that's why at first I thought American or kind of big fans of pizza.
My favorite. I'm Italian, so I mean, when I traveled to Italy, I went to Naples, where they invented pizza, where my grandmother is from.
So how much for a big size pizza?
In Italy or in America?
In America.
A large pie. When I used to work in a pizzeria, it was $8.
$8.
I'm 52. I'm 52 years old. So in high school, like over 20 years ago, our pizza was $8. Now it's like $16 to $18. And if you get it delivered, $20 for a pie, pizza pie. So you can see 20 years ago, $8. Now it's $16 or $20, depending where you go. You have a 10-inch, you can get a 14-inch pizza pie. It depends. That's why a lot of people might just go to Domino's and you can get them a little cheaper, but it's not the same. Domino's not real pizza. When you go to New Jersey or New York, real pizza. The slice is like the size of this. It's a big slice.
So actually, some people say in America, fast food is cheaper than whole food. Is that right?
Depends what fast food you go to. And really, what you get at the fast food. You can go to McDonald's and spend $20, $30 for one meal. You can go to a supermarket and buy a few things, and it'll cost you $15. You just have to make it. So people are lazy. That's why they get their fast food, because they don't want to cook. They're tired. They have children. Plus you work 8 to 9 hours a day. And if you're a single mom, now you have a part-time job you have to go to at night. So you don't have time to cook. You're putting chicken nuggets in the oven for your kid. You know, because she got to get to her second job just to make it. You know, so it depends. You know, these are basic stuff. It costs more. It costs maybe a little less. But this is like what you're going to spend. So what do we got here? Let's do the math. Fast food, regular food, gas, Wi-Fi, rent, electric, phone, car. Oh, health insurance.
Yes.
Health insurance. If your job, I grow up all my life, I never had health insurance. Too expensive.
Okay.
If you have a job that gives you health insurance, you might spend $10 a month, $20 a month, because your job is supplying your health insurance. Most jobs do not, unless you have a really good job. So, if you don't get insurance through your job, they have this, it's called COBRA. COBRA insurance. Before President Obama, insurance was low. Not high, but it was still expensive, but it was pretty low. And then he put in Obamacare.
Yes.
And people lost all their insurance, and you had to spend $5,000 a month.
$5,000.
The base, maybe, and if you didn't pay it, you had a fine, and you had to pay $500 a month to not have insurance. So if you didn't want that insurance and you couldn't afford it, they fined you. They gave you a fine of $500 a month.
But at first, I thought healthcare in America is free.
No.
Really?
No way. I got the flu.
Yeah.
And I was really sick, and I was in bed for 5 days, and my friend come over, because I don't go to the hospital, I have no insurance. I'd rather die than go to a hospital. My friends came over and said, listen, you're about to die. I'm taking you to the hospital. So he took me to the hospital. I went into the emergency room. I laid in a bed for 2 hours. They gave me IV. Yeah. I left $10,000.
$10,000 for 2 hours?
Yes. The bed to lay in was $1,000 an hour.
Wow.
The IV they gave me was $1,000 an hour for the IV. So if you have basic, bare minimum COBRA insurance, meaning if you go to the hospital, you have to pay money. Let's say you have to pay $100 first before the insurance starts paying. So you have to pay a deductible. A deductible. So your deductible depends how much your insurance is. A deductible is if your insurance covers $5,000 after you pay $1,000. So you have to pay money before they cover you, even though you pay money every month. Because your insurance is so low, it just covers in case you get hit by a car or if you get really ill.
Actually, what happens if we cannot pay for
Don't get
health
sick.
care?
Don't get sick. Because then you're going to go to the hospital and then you're going to get a bill for $10,000 to $100,000.
But actually, can we make a kind of...
The difference between Vietnam and America, here you will die before, if you don't pay them, they let you die in the hospital.
But how about the down payment?
If you're paying all that and you're only making $2,000 a month, or $3,000 a month, we're going to add that up and see how much that is monthly. Most people can't afford insurance, so they just got to hope they don't get sick. Half of America don't have health insurance. Even though we're the richest country in the world and there's poorer countries that give all their people health insurance, America don't do that. But we'll do health insurance right here. Health insurance, COBRA. Bare minimum. I'll even go a little lower. $2,500 for 6 months. Not a whole year, for 6 months. That's bare minimum. So what you're going to spend maybe $80 to $100 a month on health insurance. So right now, if we don't have cable, you're spending $80, right? Let's do this. $850 for rent, for like living in a hole. $150 for electric. So now you're up to $1,000. $1,025. You're going to spend $400 a month. Now you're up to what was it? $1,525. $1,585. We'll just do 80. So it's $1,600, $1,700, $2,100, and food. So you're spending about $2,200 a month.
Wow.
$2,200 a month.
Just for basic needs.
Basic need. But you probably only make $1,800. So now you have a credit card. You'll get a credit. You'll apply for a credit card. Your credit probably not very good, so your interest rate in America will probably be 20%. Your credit card limit might be $1,000. So when the other money you can't afford to pick up, you use your credit card. Now you have a credit card bill every month.
Yes. So that's
and
where
it's usually $50 a month for a credit. That's if you have a credit card.
So that's where Americans have big debts, right?
Right. So that's how $1 billion a year in credit card interest through the government.
Wow.
That's a lot of tax money that benefits America. So they'll never get rid of it. If anything, it's going up right now because of inflation. You have to raise your interest rates on homes and credit cards to equal it out. So that's now you're spending more money on your home. That's if you rent. If you own a home, you're probably spending $5,000 a month. If you own a home, because now you have to cut your grass. Your electric's going to be double, triple that. You might need a roof. Something might happen. You live in Florida, there'll be a hurricane, you lose your house and your insurance doesn't cover it, you lose everything. Because you can't afford hurricane insurance. Because they know, in America, they know you live in Florida, there's going to be a hurricane, so what do you think they do in America? They make it higher for you to spend. Because their liability goes up. You have to spend now more money for hurricane insurance. So they get you that way. So that's basic. I mean, maybe you cut down a little bit if you take public transportation, because then you can get rid of your oil change, your car insurance, and your gas.
So that's mean we
but
have
now
to
you have to take a bus.
Yes.
So now if you have to work at 6 a.m., you got to get on that bus at 4 a.m. Because the bus is going to have 100 stops before you get to where you're going. So now you lose 2 more hours of your time. And if you have a kid and you're single, where does your kid go? Daycare. Daycare is like $5,000 a month. Everybody, America is unbelievable. It's beautiful places to go to. The landscape is awesome. The food is good because there's so much difference in food. You can get any kind of food you want in America. The diversity is a lot.
But how about what you think about the average income? So
an average income of a family of 2 with a wife and a husband is $48,000 a year.
That's the minimum, right?
Yeah. No. That's like basic or average. If it's bare minimum, like you're probably making $30,000. My brother's a chef. His wife cuts hair, and they only make $60,000.
$60,000. That's a lot.
And my brother makes $45,000
a year.
A year.
A year. So that's mean it's around.
So you're making about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. If you have 2 people, you might make. Hopefully, you're making $4,000. Hopefully. Hopefully.
So that's mean that's just enough to pay bills.
Yes. That's why people work so much in America. That's why you have to work 60 hours a week. So 60 hours, let's say you work 40 hours a week. That's 160 hours a month.
Oh, so that's where I read. Even an Amazon truck driver.
They only make about $12 an hour.
Yes.
So Amazon is like Nike. They pay their people very low.
But they have to work.
But they have health insurance.
But they have to work over 10 hours a day.
You have to. I used to work for UPS.
Yeah.
And you don't go home until every package is off your truck. So there were days I'd work from 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. In the winter, because of Christmas, everybody has packages. So I would work probably 15 hours a day. In a truck that has no heat, that's made of metal, and it's freezing. You, at the end of the day, you can't even move. I would cry some nights because you're up and down the truck, so your hips, your back, and you're so cold it goes into your bones.
But actually, if you work overtime, do you get any bonus?
You get overtime, yes, but then the government taxes your overtime double. So if you make $500 in overtime, you're only getting $250.
Okay.
But people have to do that because that $250 is a big amount if you do it every week. You know, that's extra $1,000 a month. But police in some places only make $25,000 a year. In a smaller town, like New York, they make about 60 to 80. In a little town, you might make 25,000, like $10 an hour. But like everybody, and they think America is freedom. Like people, because here you are in a communist country, not like China or something like, or Venezuela. But it's not as hard as that government is on you. But you're still in a communist. Like I have a YouTube channel. I can't say nothing bad about Vietnam or they'll cut me off. In America, you can say whatever you want. They do send people to your home. Like the president now spies on you.
Yes.
They have drones that fly over your home. They listen in on your phone calls because the government is very corrupt. Even with Trump, no matter who's president, it's always corrupt. So you cannot trust the government. The best way to get into America right now is fly to Mexico and then walk across the river, and they give you hotel, food, phone, insurance, school, everything for free. But if you're an American citizen, you have to pay for that. Yesterday, 10,000 people crossed the border illegally in Texas.
So that's where American people, they don't want to share jobs and everything to people from other countries, right?
It's not about sharing. It's about, there are people that do it legally that wait 15 years to become an American citizen. And then you have these people that come over and don't, it's not right. It's not about how much we're not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of Julio from Mexico who didn't finish high school because he's going to come here and pick fruit. Most people coming from other countries are not as smart as Americans. That's why they're coming. These countries they're coming from are they have no schools, or they have to work since they're 8 years old, so their education is not good, or they're criminals. So they don't intimidate because they're not in my field of work. But if you work in hotel or restaurant, you might be a little threatened because now your boss, instead of paying you $15 an hour, now Julio just came over, he could pay him $8 an hour. So he'll pay the $8 an hour who's here illegally, than somebody who's a citizen and pay him $15 on the books. So now the job has to pay taxes on the American. If you're an illegal, you don't have a social security number. A social security number in America, that's how you pay your taxes and vote. So now you don't have to pay taxes, so it's even better for your company. So that's where it comes in with, but since President Biden came in, I think 4 million people have come into our country. And most of them are living on the street and homeless because there's nowhere to put them. There's where do we put them? Like New York put them in hotels, all the hotels are full. Now they're living on the street.
How about nursing houses for them?
All right, so your grandma or your mom is living in a nursing home. You're going to put some guy who hasn't been vetted. Vetted means the government sees if you're a criminal, if you're a terrorist. They're not checking right now. Like in America, in school, as a parent, you have to make sure your kid is vaccinated. You got to spend $150 on school supplies, and then you have to pay the school. If you're an illegal immigrant, everything is free. So parents are like, why are we have to be proof that we've got the shot? Why do we have to pay all this? And you're giving it all to these people. So that's why people are angry. You have people that fight in the war. Veterans in America that are homeless. Use that money you're spending on the illegal immigrants, on people that have no leg, that are homeless, or that need help. And that's why it's corrupt, because people give money to the government and they have to put it somewhere.
But how about education? I heard
we
that.
didn't go over that, huh? Education.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a kid, I mean...
Is it free?
Is it free? I went to school for free. Because I play sports and I was really good. So I got a scholarship. So I didn't have to pay because I was very good at baseball. I threw a baseball 100 miles an hour. So the college said, come here. I had colleges trying to get me to come. But if you don't have a scholarship, and there are different ways. You have academic, which means you study your butt off. and you get good grades, and they might give you like $10,000 towards your education. Are you going to a real 4-year college, or are you going to a 2-year college? Which school are you going to go to? If you go to a 4-year college, 4 years, let's say like the University of Florida. You go for 4 years. Each year is $50,000. So you're going to spend about $200,000 in 4 years. And you can get a loan. A student loan will help you pay for it. So now, by the time you get out of college, and let's say your major was philosophy, where are you going to get a job for philosophy? Nowhere. Now you become a mechanic. So you spend 4 years in college to do a degree that you can't get a job for, but you owe $200,000 now. And you have to spend until your student loan. My brother is 56. He just finished his student loan 2 years ago. And he went to school 30 years prior to that.
But actually,
Because an average person cannot pay a $200,000 loan off.
But I heard that we don't need to pay for the study in state school, right?
Books. Oh, I forgot about books. So you go, let's say you go to a state school and it's $30,000 a year.
My cousin, she lives in Arizona.
Okay.
But she in grade 8.
Okay, so I was talking college. This is middle. Okay, so she in public school or private school?
Public school.
Okay.
Everything is free.
Public school is a little different. It's probably free for. Is she from there or is she from here? Was she born here or there?
America.
She was born in America.
She born in Vietnam.
Right, that's why she probably gets it free, because you're not from America. So there's grants that will help her pay for people not from America.
Her father is American.
Yeah, but I bet you he didn't write down that she was born in America. She was probably Vietnamese. And that's going to help you reduce your taxes also. So there's ways around that. But public school probably costs you a year, because you got to buy books. You're going to have to buy book back. Still buying stuff. They have stuff that you have to donate through the year. So public school, you'll probably spend $4,000 to $5,000 a year on public school. If they have a field trip, you're going to have to come up with money, unless you tell your kid you can't go see dinosaurs. You got to pay for lunch. Lunch isn't free. Unless you make less than like $20,000 a year as a family, you get something for lunch for free. But you're going to end up spending $5,000 for public school. Community college, you go to college for 2 years, you'll probably spend about $15,000 to $18,000. Books, and that doesn't include books. When I went to college, because I was on a scholarship, I had to take 15 credits. So I had to take 6 classes. Each class, the book was $200. So it was just $1,200 for books.
Quite expensive, right?
Why do you think I'm in Vietnam?
That's the reason why you can
Why do you think foreigners leave America? Unless you make good, if you make $50,000 a year, it's okay. I mean, hopefully nothing really bad happens, like you have to buy a new car or something happens to your house. But if you make $50,000 a year, America is okay. But if you're making 40, you're struggling, Let's say it's $2,000 a month. 2 times 12, that's $24,000 just for that. So if you're making $28,000 a year, you only have $4,000 extra dollars for the whole year. And if one of your kids gets sick, or if your car breaks down, or the water breaks in your house, or
So what do you think about the idea? So the U.S. offer a lot of opportunities to get good jobs.
Depends on your education and your experience. Like, for instance, if you're a doctor from Russia and you go to America, you have to go back to school. Their school isn't as higher level as America. So now you're gonna have to be. So even if you're a doctor in Russia, you come to America, you're not gonna be a doctor. You have to go back to school for like another 6 months or a year so they can educate you more and take your money. But even if you're a doctor from America, to be a doctor, you have to go to school like 8 to 10 years. That's like almost $1 million to be a doctor. And then you still have to pay that off. So a doctor might make $300,000 a year if you're a surgeon. After taxes, you probably make $150,000. And you probably live in a nice house and have a nice car because you're a doctor. You never pay off your bills.
But can I have a good life if I'm just a bus driver?
A bus driver? Like a regular transit? You drive a bus, or a school bus? No, school buses, no.
No, just
But if you're gonna drive a bus all day, yeah, you could probably make 30,000, 40. Are you single or you have a family?
How about a family?
Do you have a family or are you single and drive a bus?
What difference?
Well, if you're single and make $35,000 a year, that's good. If you have a wife and a kid, $35,000, you're not going to pay for daycare and everything like that. You're going to, because now that probably goes up to $5,000 a month for a kid.
Wow. So is it easy to get a big house in America?
No. You have to have good credit. Your job has to be good. You have to, show that you can pay your bills. If you have a lot of money, how much you put down on the house depends on how much you pay monthly. So you could get a house, not easy. My brother's just buying a house now, and with the new president, it's very hard because there's so many new taxes and things they put on stipulations, meaning you buy a house, you gotta get this done and this done and this done, which all costs money. So it's not really that. I don't think you want to buy a house right now in America because with inflation and all the high interest rates for houses and credit cards, it would not be smart. Unless you're rich, and buy two. But living in America is very expensive. But it's a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. America has good points. Not like I hate America, but it's just if you don't make a lot of money, it's very difficult.
But life is easier in the countryside, right? In the U.S.
Well, now you live in the countryside, you might have to travel 2 hours for work every day.
2 hours.
What do you think about farming? Is it a good job?
Well, right now they don't want you to farm a lot in America. The new president, because it goes against green energy. So farming is, they're taxing you more. So normally, let's say they tax you $10,000 a year on your farm. Now they're taxing you $40,000 or $50,000 a year. Now gas is more expensive for all your machinery, like your tractors and everything you need. So now you're spending more money on that. And so a lot of people farming right now are losing money. In America, if you own a farm and you die, you can't give it to your family without them paying taxes, which is usually about $50,000 to $100,000.
How about tax return?
Now, most people pay taxes, so you might have to pay $1,000 at the end of the year on your taxes. When President Trump was president, he stopped. If you were a farmer and you died, you can give it down to your family. It was free. He stopped that. He made it so it was easier for you. Now the new president, everything that President Trump did, this new president stopped it and made it, and it made America worse. I mean, do you ever see him on TV, our president? When he was in Hanoi, he can't speak, he can't walk, he falls down all the time because he's a puppet for other people. So he ruined our country, and we got 1 more year of him. So then maybe I go back after him. I don't know. But America, very, very good, but very expensive. And if you live in California, double that for bare minimum. I got a job in California. They gave me a signing bonus for my job. So for them hiring me, they gave me $10,000. After taxes in California, I got $5,000. So they took half my money.
So $5,000 a year, right?
Well, that was just for the money they gave me. I'm probably spending 28% every paycheck on taxes from California. That's why I left California. And most of it's for the homeless. But yet every year homeless goes up. So I left California. It's very dangerous. Right now in California, they stopped. So if you go to California and you rob a store, and it's only $800 that you robbed, they let you go. So people are running into stores, robbing $800 worth of stuff, and then leaving, and nothing happens to them. You can stab somebody in California, and the person who gets stabbed goes to jail. New York, yeah, you look it up, Google, it's all New York. You own a 7-Eleven. Somebody comes in, this was big in the news. A girl come in, wanted a bag of potato chips, but she didn't want to pay for it. So the owner says, well, you have to pay for the bag of potato chips. So the girl stabbed him with a knife. Leaves the store, comes back with her boyfriend. The boyfriend goes around, goes to stab him again. He ends up killing the boyfriend, and the person that owns the store on video shows he was attacked. He went to jail. I know. People are crazy. It's crazy in America right now. They're more concerned about wokeness. Like, you can't say this. Like, in America, does anybody know how many different types of genders? You know what gender is, boy, girl? In America, how many different types of genders in America? Take a guess. Give me a number. Normally it's boy, girl.
I think that's not more than 6.
There are 82. And men can get pregnant now. In America, men, they say, can get pregnant. I've never seen a man get pregnant, but in America, if you're a in America, there are 82 different kinds of genders. You have man, girl, lesbian, binary, non-binary. You could be a rabbit. You could be whatever you want in America. Right now, what's big in America is transgender. So you're a man who says now you're a woman. And what happens is now they say they're a woman, they're competing. Like, you go to college and you're on the swimming team and you're on the man's swimming team, but now you become a female. You now are on the swimming team of the women and you become the best in the world. Because you're a man competing against women. But you can't do nothing about it, because if you say that's a man, you're racist. You can go to jail. They'll fine you. You won't be able to do anything. So you have to agree with all these crazy people who think they're. It's called a furry. A furry is somebody who dresses up in costumes like a wolf, a dog, a cat. and they think they're that. So they call them furries.
Can you spell? Can you spell furry?
Huh?
Can you spell the word?
F-U-R-Y.
F-U-R-Y.
F-U-R-Y. You're a furry, meaning you're wearing a costume of an animal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you identify as.
Mm-hmm.
That's more important in America than actual bringing down the cost of living. America is, I've been all over the world. People are laughing at America right now. Because it's, that's why Russia and Ukraine are in war. Because when President Trump was there, he said, listen, if you do this, you're not going to like what happens. And President Putin was kind of nervous. And then President Biden comes in, who don't even know his own name sometimes. And they're like, this guy, he ain't going to do anything. And then they started the war a few months later. But very dangerous right now in America. You gotta be very careful. America good, don't get me wrong. America good. If you live in a red state means Republican. Blue state means Democrat. If you live in a Democratic state, crime up, murder up, theft up, money up. To live in New York, an apartment like this would be $5,000 a month. To live in a room like this, maybe $4,000.
Okay.
If you had a room that went from here to here, and this is your room, probably $1,000 a month in New York.
In New York.
California, maybe $1,500, $1,500 a month. So it's
Okay, so the last questions to end off the class, the club for today. So what do you think about the new policy of the U.S.? So is it easy to get a kind of visa or
visas
PR?
are 6 months behind right now. Getting passports are 8 months behind for Americans. It's not very. I just tried to get a 30-day tourist visa for somebody to come to America with me, and I tried for 8 months. I couldn't get it. So it's hard right now.
So that's why if we want to get a kind of PR of the U.S., so what should we need?
A PR?
Yeah.
What's a PR?
So that's a kind of permanent resident.
You can't get a permanent resident.
Why not?
Because if you're not from the country, you'll have to get a work visa, and then you have to apply for immigration, which takes about 8 to 15 years to become an American citizen. You get a work visa, you can live there a long time. Your job, just like here, my job has to say that I have a job and everything same as America. But you just can't go to America and become a citizen.
So that's
You have to apply, you have to go to school, you have to pay money. And then, like I said, it takes 8 to 15 years to become a citizen.
Well, I heard that we need to get a kind of test to get the PR, right?
I'm not really super familiar with visas going into America. As far as the test goes, I'm sure maybe depending on your job, you have to take a test to see if you qualify for that job. Most jobs will just write you a letter saying he's working for us. I don't know if you have to take a test to become a citizen. To become a citizen, you have to take a test. You have to know the national anthem. You got to know certain presidents and things of that nature.
Okay.
But it's right now very hard to become a citizen in America. Unless you go fly into Mexico and cross over the border, then it's easy.
Okay. Thank you for your
I know I go off base a little with this, but when you said about cost of living, it's not very livable.
Of course.
Not very livable.
So that's why we have the phrase American dream.
Yes, American, and I've seen it from both sides. I went with my sports. I had money, and then I didn't have money, because then you get hurt and that money goes away very fast.
But what do you think about Vietnamese train?
This Vietnamese dream? I haven't woken up yet. I'll let you know when I woke up.
Why don't you choose Philippines, Singapore, or Thailand to live?
I would still prefer to live here. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Cambodia, and here I'd rather still live here.
Mm-hmm.
Singapore very expensive. Singapore, whew,
Yes.
triple that. And you can't chew gum. In Singapore, it's against the law to chew gum. You know that, right?
Yes.
Crazy.